This is Grandmaster Boris Alterman and you're watching Gambit Guide. Hello and welcome to the first part of the Grand Prix Attack in Sicilian defense. So we continue Gambit Guide with this interesting opening line. After e4, many, of course, prefer here to play c5, Sicilian defense. And despite the fact white could play d4, which leads to the Mora gambit, or b4 to another gambit line, so it's possible also to continue positional way to attack black's position in the Sicilian defense, even without playing knight f3. The Grand Prix attacks start usually with f4. However, lately it was discovered as quite interesting the pawn sacrifice, which we just studied in the last lecture. After d5, e takes d5 and knight f6, so black is reaching quite promising position, and this is the main line of the Tags gambit in Sicilian defense. That's why the best and I would say the more precise move order here is just to play knight c3, and white is ready to go also for closed position in the Sicilian defense in case of g3. However, after knight c6, which is the most logical continuation, in fact black is taking more control over the d4 square, and now instead of playing g3 we can switch to the Grand Prix attack, f to f4. Quite interesting and I would say even dangerous line for black. So if black is going to play here normal way is g6, going to fianchetting his bishop to the long diagonal. So the pawn on g6 in many lines also prevents white from playing f4, f5. So this kind of setup today called is the most natural for black. After knight f3 and bishop g7, we just got the main position of the Grand Prix attack. So let's try to understand the main ideas. First of all, the first question, where white has to develop his bishop. Since we cannot play d4 anymore, so black is having just so good control over the d4 square. Knight, pawn and bishop on g7, all pieces are looking towards the d4 square. So one has to think about the moving the bishop from f1. So bishop could go to c4, bishop could go to b5, and also white can try playing here g3, just transposing to the classical variation of the close position, close variation of the Sicilian defense. So after bishop b5, more or less white is trying to reach the situation when we all capture on c6 and then playing d3, taking just slightly